guys, what's up? I'm Andy. I'm a self-taught software developer, and today I'm going to answer a question from one of you guys about software development and how to become a software developer. If you haven't already, definitely check out my video here. Yeah, let's just say there, about my journey from literally a car salesman to a software developer in about 1 year's time. Watch that first before you watch this video because it's going to make a lot more sense. Anyhow, let's get right to the question. So I got a question from Jonathan on Facebook, and he asks, hi Andy, my name's Jonathan. I've been wanting to learn code for about 3 years, and I'm ready to start the journey and hopefully in the next 2 years become a developer. I've been working in sales at a cell phone store for 6 years now, and I'm ready for a change. I have a family, and I'm just ready to start a new career and be able to spend more time with them, especially on the weekends. I just got a book on Python because a lot of people suggested it. It's the easiest language to learn, but after watching your video, I feel maybe JavaScript would be better. I don't know yet what kind of developer I want to become, but I kind of feel like I would enjoy being a web application / front-end developer based on job postings research. What advice would you give me, man? ? Thanks a lot. Cool. It's a lot of stuff there. I certainly could take that and talk about so many different things, but I'll try to stay on task here. Let's see how that goes. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Don't worry too much about whether you're going to be a front-end or back-end developer at this point. I would say spend your first month or two just learning a programming language to a decent degree, to a somewhat competent degree. And then you can always pivot to something else. You can always try, a back-end language like Java or C#, or maybe, whether it's data language like SQL. But don't stress out about it now. It's not that important. Just worry about getting yourself to study consistently. As far as whether you should learn JavaScript or Python, again, that's not super important. I chose JavaScript because I was recommended JavaScript. The Head First JavaScript book, which I'll link right here, right there. If you want to learn Python, go ahead. I think there's even a Head First Python book that you could learn as well. I just like the Head First series. It's really easy. It breaks down some of the basic concepts of the programming language as well as teaching you concepts that are applicable, like giving you little activities to do. If you are going to do the Head First books, please do yourself a favor. Do all of the activities. There's so many activities in each chapter. Do each little one, no matter how stupid they sound. So yeah, let's get that. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about you and how you're going to go from somebody with no experience as a software developer to somebody who's gainfully employed as a programmer / software developer. The first thing I'm going to get out of the way too as well, take it very seriously. I'm going to assume that you're taking it very seriously because, look, you're working in sales, you have a family to provide for, and I'm again assuming that you see the opportunity available to you, whether it's better money, better able to take care of your family, maybe you want to travel more. That's software development's going to provide you those because it's a pretty lucrative thing to be in right now. So if you're taking this seriously, once you've taken it seriously, it's really important that you start on just sitting down for 5 or 10 minutes and writing down some sort of plan that you can stick to. The one part of the plan is a date. So circle a date on a calendar and say this is the date 2 years in the future or 1 year in the future, whatever you feel more comfortable with, that you're going to start applying for jobs. The second thing I would say you need to write down and commit to is a certain number of hours per week or per day that you're going to study. That's a very important thing to do. It doesn't mean that if you say it's going to be 7 hours in the beginning that you can't increase it or decrease it, but you need to write it down and see if you can stick to it. If you write down 7 hours per week and you're only doing 3.5, then you know that the most important thing for you to focus on is just your commitment, right? Like just making sure that you can sit down and do the work. If you can't even sit, so if you say, again, going back to the example, if you say you're going to do 7 hours, you're only doing 3.5, there's something more symptomatic going on with you that you need to figure out, whether it's blocking off more time, saying no to friends, saying no to family. That's for you to figure out, but at least if you commit to a certain period of time that you're going to work every week, you'll be able to decide whether that is working for you. The other thing I would recommend is just picking a number out of thin air. Let's say you're going to develop 5 little, small, goofy, fun applications that are going to go in your portfolio eventually. I say 5, it can be 4. It really doesn't matter. Just you need to, once you get past that first month or two, you've learned a language, then you need to pivot towards learning, or not learning, but building out these small applications. And once you do that, you need to set yourself a time period like of 2 months or 3 months that you want to build it in. So for example, my first application I built, I call it application, it's not really an application. The first application I built was a JavaScript Tetris app, right? So I built that out in about, oh God, I don't remember. I think it was more than a month, let's put it that way. It took me more than a month, and once I did that, I was able to move on to the next one, the next one, the next one. So when you decide you're going to build that first app, give yourself X amount of time. It's not super important that you hit the deadline, but it's important that you just don't, it doesn't take you a year to build. It should only take you a few months, and then you can move on to the next one. So those 3 things, make sure you have a plan, the amount of time you're going to study, the sort of time limit for each application that you're going to build for your portfolio, and then the end date of when you're actually going to go out and apply for jobs. All very, very important things. The next thing I would say is there's a very critical thing to understand at the beginning that will help you in your process of learning, okay? And it's simply this. It's important to study the language not to pass tests, but to be able to accomplish tasks or accomplish a goal. What I mean is this. When you go in for your first job interview, they're not gonna test you. They're not gonna give you a little Scantron sheet or a test and say, how well do you know the language? Do you know what a method is? Do you know what a for loop is? That's not what an employer cares about. They care about giving you a task, a work item, and seeing you be able to work through to make that idea happen through the tool of a programming language. Because at the end of the day, a programming language is just a tool. So after you've learned Python or after you've learned JavaScript, now you have to take that knowledge of how the programming language functions, and you have to take that and build a form from it in HTML or build a game out of that. And that's why it's critical to understand that once you have the basic grasp of the language, now you have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And it's a very tough comfort zone of building an application, building a Tetris in JavaScript, because the skills that it takes to build a little tiny goofy silly game like that are actually very difficult when you don't know how to do it. You have to learn how to learn, is what I call it. You have to learn how to Google. You have to learn how to ask questions, right? Because maybe you'll have mentors in your life who will be able to give you help when you're building your first little application. But if you don't even know how to ask them questions, you're not going to want to go to them and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you do it for me? No one's going to help you. So once you learn the language at a decent level, push yourself to learning how to use that language to build out stuff. Make sense? I don't know because you can't answer back, but I think it does. All right, so the next point I would say is be creative when you're actually getting that first job. I know it sounds obvious to say, but really it's so critical to get that first job. Once you get the first job, every other job is going to be easy. Like, I think it was 3 months after I got my first job that recruiters were bothering the shit out of me for, all these other jobs. So you're somebody with no experience, maybe you'll go to school, maybe you won't, it doesn't matter. It's going to be hard to get that first job, but once you get that experience, everything else will just fall in place. So you're going to have to be very creative. Be creative with your resume. I'm going to shoot another video after this, so look out for a video in the future that's specifically about how to write your resume based on how I did it. There's no right or wrong way. But you're not going to necessarily want to rely on the shotgun approach, which is that you're going to go to some job website, shoot out your resume, and hope for the best. I highly recommend going to meetups, talking to friends who are in the field, posting on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. Honestly, I would even post in the freaking newspaper that I'm a developer, a self-taught developer, and I'm looking for my first job, and I'm willing to mop the floors at your company for 3 months until you give me an opportunity. Whatever it is, you need to show passion, enthusiasm. All this stuff sounds very obvious, but you need to line up all your ducks in a row. Learning the language is the first part, or becoming competent in a language and building out apps is the first part. The second part, if you can't figure it out, getting a job, it's all for naught. All that effort will be for nothing. So you need to get creative, do whatever it takes, talk to whoever you have to talk to, get out of your shyness if you're really shy and go talk to people at meetups. Whatever it takes. Again, gotta get creative. That stuff is on you. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can really think of without talking for hours and hours and hours about it. At the end of the day, have a plan, stick to it. Understand that programming languages are just tools. So really focus on using programming languages and being able to show that you know how to use a programming language to accomplish an end goal, And then once you actually start going for your job, be super duper creative. And I think that will be a good sort of foundation moving forward. So Jonathan, I wish you the absolute best of luck. I hope that information helps. Anybody else, please leave comments on the video. I really want to get better at this. I find that it's actually been more difficult than I thought. I'm trying to become more comfortable in front of the camera, trying to be more eloquent with my ideas. So your guys' feedback is always helpful. If you like the video, leave a like and go ahead and subscribe for future content. I'm going to try to cover more topics related to software development and technology in general. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, peace out. Blah.